started and get going here right now. I think I've given you all enough announcements. We'll be getting going here right now. So again, as you see, we have the Symphony chips right here. We have that right there. You'll see the Symphony chips. Definitely want you to go ahead and purchase some of the Symphony chips while we're online today and get going today with what's taking place. All right, so let's bring up our guests. Let's go ahead and bring them in. Man, this has been long anticipated, and I'm pretty excited. So before I bring them, I want to read a little bit about them. Symphony Chips is a family-owned business. Originally began as Spice Company. Co-founder and father Andre Anderson is a retired chef that worked on the famous Las Vegas Strip. While working on the Strip, he developed a custom blend that was sought after by patrons and fellow chefs alike. When Andre's son, Dundre Anderson, tried his father's famous blend, he was blown away. So much so that he convinced his father that he needed to package the blend and sell it as soon as possible. So they started featuring their blend in a grocery store and quickly learned that no one buys spices that they cannot taste, no matter how pretty the packaging. So the Andersons began doing in-store demonstrations. They put their spice on raw vegetables, on popcorn, but it wasn't until they put the spice on homemade potato chips that customers began taking notice. That is when Symphony Chips was born. So I want to bring in and welcome Dundre Anderson, co-founder of Symphony Chips, his daughter Amina Anderson, and also Mr. Andre Anderson. Welcome you all to the broadcast. How are you all doing today?
Great, doing good.
Great.
So hello, everybody. I'm Dondre Anderson. I am the co-founder of Symphony Potato Chips, and I'm here with my lovely daughter Amina.
Hello.
And the flavor architect and flavor master extraordinaire, retired chef from the famous Las Vegas Strip, who, if you've ever been to Las Vegas, you know, people go for gambling mainly, but at some point you got to refuel. We like to think that it's the part when you refuel and you get those wonderful flavors that you get from the Strip. We like to think that it was our father, well, my father, her grandfather, is the one that inspired the flavors that you're actually experiencing on the Las Vegas Strip. So, with all due honor and respect, I know you guys heard me talk about it before. We've read about him. Here he is, live in the flesh, Mr. Andre Anderson. There he is right there.
Symphony's life was formed out of sheer laziness. Well, let me explain to you. The last hotel I worked in, I was what they call the oven man. Anything that was done in the oven, that was on me. But I had to go to the storeroom to pick up my seasonings, and I had to load up a cart, bring it all to my workstation, and when I was done with it, I had to bring it all back and line it up in the back of the storeroom. Well, I decided one day just to combine all the spices in one big container and keep it on my station. That would have saved me all those steps. So everybody liked the spice, and so I sent some to Dondre, and he took it to a whole new level.
Well, now, wait. You missed the part. You said everybody liked the spice where you worked. What happened when they started liking the spice?
They wanted the recipes. They wanted to know what I put in it.
It is.
And I said, I can't tell you that, because if I tell you that, then you know as much as I do.
Right. Okay, when I was coming up with my own brand, it was really more of a, my dad and I really sat down and brainstormed as to how I was really going to make my own mark on the world and not just be another person, you know, in the workforce. So we had to sit down and think about how we can like branch off to Symphony Chips into something else. So I decided to take this wonderful seasoning and put it into a gluten-free fry mix. And I wanted something that that everyone could enjoy. So yeah, we really sat down. It took us how long? Weeks to really get it right. It was a long process to make sure you got it right.
A lot of fried food.
A lot of mistakes, trials and tribulations, but we got through it and we finally got it down. And you know, once it comes out, you guys will taste the wonderful flavor that we have created.
Yep, gluten-free and low carb at the same time. So
I want to go back a little bit. Take us a little bit back, Dundre. Tell us what you were doing before you got into the business of potato chips.
So before I got into the business of potato chips, I was actually a software developer. Developed software for a living and primarily focused on business process automation. So because my personality, I'm somewhat impatient. I get very impatient when processes that should take, minutes take months, right? So when you walk in someplace and they say, well, we'll do this service for you, but it's going to take us, 6 to 8 weeks just to process your paperwork. When really all that is them trying to, what I like to call using the sneaker net, which is when they walk around the office trying to find Bob, Sally, and Jane to sign a piece of paper. That takes forever. So what I do is I develop I actually streamline processes that actually allow the process to find the people versus people trying to find the people. And that way, now you have an expanded subset of capabilities. Now it's not just trying to approve one form. Now you can approve several forms and several processes, approvals, approved budgets, things of that nature, and nobody has to be present in the same office for it to take place. So that's kind of what I do, and that's what is our venture capitalist for our Symphony Spices and Symphony Meals. So the first time I tried the spices, and we were actually talking about this. He remembers sending me some, but then I remember was it Christmas? It was some kind of family gathering. It was Christmas. It was a Christmas dinner that we actually did where he flew out from Vegas out here to Atlanta, and we made was it a 3-course meal?
Yeah,
it was a 3-course meal where this is where I learned the how dynamic the spice was. Where we actually used the spices on the salad we did, and then we had a main course we had a salad, we had an appetizer, and then we had a main course, and we seasoned it with the exact same spice all 3 times, and nobody knew that it was the same spice all 3 times because the salad, was cold, and the hors d'oeuvres I think we served were, I don't know if they were cold or not, I don't remember, but then I know, of course, the entree was hot, but nobody could tell it was the same spice, and it all paired together. So, because it's one thing to make food or whatever, it's another thing to allow your food to pair with each course. So because you're kind of building and working up to the main course, and that's when I learned how dynamic the spice was. Because some spices you have out there on the market are only kind of 1 or 2 dimensional, where, when I say 1 or 2 dimensional, meaning they're mainly just used on hot dishes. Not many spices can be used on cold dishes and also hot dishes. And then you can pair it throughout the course of the entire meal. So that's how I learned about it. And really, I guess that's maybe, I won't say what I learned about it, so we don't argue anymore about when I got it. But that's when I started to respect it. How about that?
Okay. And yesterday we were talking about, just the origins of potato chips. Dundre, rather. We were talking about the origins of potato chips. Tell that story, because actually I was not aware that the person that invented the potato chips was an African American.
Yeah. What's so incredible is that you have Black History Month that comes and goes, and every blue moon you may see somebody mention or talk about George Crumb. Well, it was actually a Black man that actually invented the potato chips. So these companies that have made billions upon trillions of dollars off of potato chips, don't really do anything for our community. But it's just so funny that they made their money off of a Black man. So that story it goes like this. George Crumb was a chef at what it reads, it was a golf resort or a country club, and he actually was making his meals or whatever. Anyways, part of his meal was French fries. Well, this one particular customer one day was like, well, these French fries are too thick, and can you do something about it? And sent it back. Now, of course, I wasn't there back in the 1800s, but I've been Black long enough to know that when you send food back that I've made the same way for a long time, I'm gonna have an attitude. Am I right? Am I Dad working in the kitchen?
That's right.
Yeah, you're gonna have an attitude.
Oh, yes.
You're gonna have attitude. So I felt like George probably had an attitude. He was like, well, you know what? You want thinner? Well, I can make them thinner. And he probably cut them paper thin. So anything thinner would have been thin air. So he cut them real thin and fried them up and sent them out there. And then when the customer got it, the customer went ballistic. Like, oh my God, these are the best things I've ever had in my life. What are these? What are these called? And I think that's when George named them potato chips. Because they were just chips of potatoes. So that's what he named them. And then potato chips were born. And, I believe George started a company years ago called Saratoga Chips.
Yeah.
And they did all right. But, of course, because they were black owned, there was no money behind it. There was no enthusiasm behind it, no advertising, nothing like that. So you had these other companies that came in that said, oh, there's something really good. Well, I'll take it and run with it. And there you go.
Well, when I'm working with my dad, my day-to-day would be, well, it depends on if we have an event. Well, knowing him, he plans things like weeks in advance. So it puts it on my calendar. I get a reminder, and then we get set up and ready to go for it. We're all ready to go, packed up. And if I have work to do, I try to finish it before or right after. Try to manage my time with it. Really, it's just us working together to get the whole event or whatever we have to do done. So it would just be us taking all of our things that we need for that day, make a list, check it twice, and make sure everything is working together, and everything that we do is very fluent.
So once people tried the chips and were like, oh my God, the spice are good, where can I get a bag of these chips? I knew, because of so many people saying the exact same thing, that it was going to be larger than me or us making them in the kitchen trying to distribute them that way. I knew that wasn't going to work out. So I had to look for a way to mass produce them and understand what mass production looks like. And what's very interesting in this country, manufacturers do not advertise. They don't want you to know that they, co-pack or private label or anything like that. These are all terms that I kind of just had to learn. So what I did was I got on the internet and just started looking up potato chip manufacturers. And I came across a very large number, of course. And of course, the largest one here in this state is Frito-Lay. So, reaching out to them even was like, hey, would you be open to doing private labeling? And I could never talk to the right people. So what I then learned was something I didn't know, which was the potato chip industry. The heart of the potato chip industry is in the Midwest of this country, primarily Pennsylvania, Ohio, and West Virginia are where the potato chips for this country are primarily made. It's like as they say, the heartland. And it was going there that I found my potato chip manufacturer. And they were willing to do private labeling, and they were willing to do my spices. Now, the spices were another thing, because when you start talking about commercializing your product, now you have to have certifications and things of that nature. So one of the things I thought about, because I had to get the spices to the potato chip manufacturer, was, okay, well, I can blend them myself. Well, why can't I just get a blender, set it up, right? No big deal. Well, one of the biggest things in the manufacturing, especially food manufacturing, is being kosher certified, which is, people don't know this, or maybe people don't know, is that is a Jewish standard. And you have to pretty much hire a Jewish priest to come out and review your process. Now, these priests they're not certified by any government agency. They have no health or foods or safety certifications. It's just their religion and making sure that by their standards, whatever they are, they believe you're safe. And they charge an astronomical amount for this. And it's so high that it kind of forces you into looking for companies that will do minimums that you can afford. So it almost makes it unaffordable to do it yourself. Even though you can go to a shared kitchen, which there's several around Atlanta and probably around several different cities, and go in there and blend it and be certified because you're in a certified kitchen, but you have to have them come out and certify each lot you do, and they charge upper bounds of $1,000 to $1,500, which makes it ridiculous. So that drives the price way up. So what you have to do is you get back on the phone, or you contact your manufacturer and figure out, okay, where can I go to get my spices blended commercially, who already has this certification already done and does enough business where they can have a lower minimum. So that's another hurdle you have to get over. So, in which I have like 3 or 4 different spice blenders that I use depending on what we're doing. If we're making chips, I use one. If we're doing the spices, which are coming soon, I use another one. And depending on how each one does, I bounce in between. So now you have the spices and the co-packer. The next thing is you have to have packaging. And again, you can start at the co-packer and say, hey, who's your packaging company? And then they'll tell you. You can call them, and you have to figure out, okay, well, what are their minimums? Because you're starting out, right? So you have to have a certain amount of capital to start out. Now, because you have no inventory, most of the time banks won't touch you unless you're willing to put up your life savings or put up your house. So there's no bank that you can walk into with a business plan and say, hey, I have all this footage of me being in a store, people trying my chips, loving them, so I know they'll sell. Will you give me money? And I say, no, you got to have inventory. Well, in order to get inventory, like I said, you got to get the spices done, the co-packer, and packaging before you get inventory. So all this is your money you're putting in. And by the time you get all this stuff done and you paid for it, you don't need the banks. But then that's when they want to come and say, hey, we'll give you a lot of credit. Well, I don't need you now. I'm fine. Thank you very much. But anyway, so sorry, a little PSD there. I'm sorry, PTSD. Sorry. Yeah. So then when you get into packaging, now you have to have your graphic artists involved because you have to make it look a certain way. And in the beginning of our conversation, when you asked me what I did before, it was software engineering. Nothing to do with graphics, nothing to do with advertising and marketing. That's not my background, not my forte. Remember, process automation is my forte. So streamlining discovering and streamlining our supply chain is what I did. So and what I'm good at. So because the idea behind it was that the last thing I wanted to see happen was, we get a call from a large company saying, hey, we need 1 million bags of chips in 2 weeks. And I'm trying to stir up, a pot of grease and chips in my kitchen, trying to, dream and pray that somehow it'll happen. And I didn't want to fail for that reason. So we have our supply chain. That's what it took to go from doing a demo in a store to actually having a co-packer, having having our spices commercially blended, and then also having a packaging company involved. And again, these are 3 separate companies that then have to ship their products to the co-packer. Co-packer puts it all together, and then the co-packer sends it to us, and then that's when we fulfill the orders that come in from people online. So we keep an inventory here, in Atlanta that we send out to everybody in all over the U.S. I mean, we've had orders even in Canada. We've had orders also in Hawaii and also Alaska. We've hit all 50 states now, so it's really been a blessing.
So explain that process. So for business owners, particularly those that have products, and dealing with co-packing, how arduous that process can be. And so walk us through that first process of dealing with the first co-packer.
So the very first co-packer we had, it seemed very good because they had a business development person that worked with us, kind of like a liaison, and they kind of took care of the packaging portion of it for us, meaning because they were such a large company and ordered so much from a packaging company, in order to do our run, which would be a lot smaller, because they ordered their packaging in the 100,000s. So where we only needed maybe like 10 or 15,000. So it really wasn't that big a deal for them. They could get better pricing because they ordered so much, because it's all about volume. So when you're starting out, you don't have as much volume, so your price point's higher. But the more you order, the lower your price point gets. So that first co-packer we were dealing with was handling the packaging piece for us, which was kind of cool. But then we went through a few different packaging variations. So when we started out, I actually created the first package, and it looked horrible. So we're not even going to talk about that. So then we had another variation where I actually had a marketing company. What'd you say? What'd you say, Brian?
So don't run past that, sir. so you created the first one and it was horrible?
Oh yeah, it was real bad. It was real bad. But the orange one, yeah, the orange one, yeah.
Yeah, she remembers. She said the orange one.
Yeah, she remembers. She remembers. So
Okay.
and so then when we got to the packaging we have now, which features my picture and then my dad's picture on it, that's when we had to leave the co-packer because I think in the beginning stages they didn't know we were black.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember that.
So when the packaging hit the floor was when the liaison we were dealing with was fired, and the owner of the company called me up because we had a lot of we had our spices were there in their inventory, and also our packaging was there. So they were like, well, we just want to run you one more time and everything you have here at once and just give it to you, and you just go, we don't want to do business with you anymore, which was like upper bounds about 40 to 50 grand worth of product. I'm like, well, if you want to just give it to me, okay, well, great, But they were like, well, no, we want our money. Well, it took me having to get my lawyer involved to have them finish out their agreement that we had. So to your point, Brian, it wasn't so much arduous as far as the beginning, but then also being black. And my whole thing is I thought green surpassed everything because we were paying all the bills. We kept our agreements. It was net 30, whatever we ordered, we paid for. But still, there's a problem with you being black. So, okay, you want to do business with me? Fine. So we found another co-packer that I made sure I went and met them this time, because the first co-packer I didn't go and meet. The next one we brought on board, which was an arduous process to get them onboarded.
Before you get that done, before you get there, so from the time that you got the first co-packer until the end of the relationship, how long was that time frame?
It was about, I want to say about 2 years.
Okay, so
about 2 years, because we went through two versions of packaging. So and
of
course, getting the flavor right was also a challenge.
So they worked with you for 2 years and didn't know that you were black, but once they found out that you were black, they canceled you basically.
I think once the owners found out I was black, I think the business liaison I worked with knew I was black, but the owners didn't know I was black.
Okay. All right. So take us to the next co-packer. And how did you find them?
The next co-packer I found, it was interesting. The business liaison person I was working with, when she was fired, I had to find her on LinkedIn because they took away her business cell phone. That was the only contact I had with her, and her business email. So I had to find her on LinkedIn, and I reached out to her, and we talked about what happened, and she recommended another co-packer to me. And so I reached out to this co-packer, and the very first thing I did was send him our packaging, which featured me and my dad on there, and asked him, did he have a problem running our product? That was number one. And then number two, I wanted to actually see the facility, let him meet me, and then, make sure it was a good relationship, first and foremost, before, we invested money and time in onboarding. Because the onboarding process was quite significant because, again, we had to make sure it tasted correctly. We also had to make sure there was enough, the chip to air ratio was correct. Then we had to make sure that the boxes that the chips were going in were correct. Then we also had to make sure that the number of chips going into the boxes were correct and the cardboard was correct. See, there's a lot of things, and then also the pricing had to be correct. So we had to go through a lot of those things just to make sure that was correct. And then also, because they're a different co-packer, the packaging company that we were using, we had to change the shape of the bag to meet the formers. And when I say formers, meaning the packaging machines the co-packer had, to make sure that the film we were buying from the packaging company fit. So there was a lot of steps involved that, again, the first co-packer we had took care of all of that. So I was unfamiliar with a lot of that stuff. So I had to kind of learn on the fly, that whole baptism by fire, or some people say drinking from the fire hose. So
no,
fun times.
That's now. Are you still with that same co-packer, or have you found another one?
I'm actually with another co-packer, but it wasn't for anything bad or whatever. It was basically the co-packer was repositioning themselves to sell their company. So they put us with another co-packer, which had all state-of-the-art, brand new facilities. So it was great. I mean, the relationship I have with the second co-packer is still ongoing. So I mean, he's a great guy. He actually took me under his wing. And when we actually went there to meet him, we actually had aspirations of building our own manufacturing facility. And he actually taught us how he put together his manufacturing facility from start to finish. And we were able to take pictures, video, and lots of notes or whatever so that when we're ready to do our own manufacturing facility here in Atlanta, then that's something that he agreed to assist us on as well. So it's still a great relationship.
No, that's I think that's a great point for us to realize. And we cannot deny being Black in America is an issue for a lot of people. Tell us the difference between your chips and every other chip that's on the market. What makes yours different?
Am I answering that?
You can answer it.
Oh, okay. What makes our chips different is that our chips have an actual gourmet flavor that you cannot find anywhere else. Our chips has a blend of over 28 flavors?
28 spices.
28 spices on one potato chip that blend in harmoniously. And and you won't find that sensation or won't find that flavor of a chip anywhere else. Not even our original is literally an original flavor that nobody else has. Even our packaging is original. Right. Our story is completely original. Like everything that we do is 100%, and we're really guaranteeing gourmet seasoned flavor to all of our customers.
I love that because so tell us now. The name Symphony Chips definitely is different. So maybe your dad probably wants to take this. I don't know who came up with the name. I think it was your dad. Tell us where the name Symphony Chips came from.
Where did the name Symphony Chips come from, Dad? How'd you come up with the name Symphony?
We both came up with that.
Did we?
Yeah, we both. We tossed around a few names, and then you came up with the Symphony because I'm into music. And at first we decided we was gonna have some notes, some musical notes on there, and then you came up with the word symphony, and you said because everything blends harmoniously, and that's how that symphony was born, and we just stuck with it. I liked it.
Wait, no. I think it was you who said the way that you make food is you believe that every bite should be harmonious.
Right. Yeah. Right.
That was you, and I said, oh, symphony. This is unrehearsed. As you can tell.
No, I get it. I love it. Both of you are trying to give each other credit, so it's good. No problem with that. So, Andre, you said that you are into music. So your dad said he's into music. What does he play an instrument?
So he said you play an instrument. You're into music.
Yes, I do. I play. I started out as a kid playing piano, and I ended up playing saxophone, alto sax. I haven't played since the military, so I haven't played.
Wow, I didn't know that. So that's really, really good to know. Now, Amina, do you play as well?
I do not. But my sister, she plays an instrument.
Your sister does?
Yeah, she plays the stand-up bass.
Okay, excellent. Now, Dundre, I know you don't play any instruments.
I was a DJ in high school, A
DJ in high school. No, that's good. All right, so Symphony Chips, and so you have 28 blends within your flavor. So tell everyone the different types of chips that you have, the different flavors that you have. I know you have the original. How many other flavors do you have?
So we have 7 flavors that are already done. So we have the original, then we have smoked, then we have the sweet potato chips that are coming. Then we have chipotle aioli, lemon pepper aioli. then we have balsamic, and then we also have au jus. Those are the 7 spices.
Now, I've only seen the original and the smoke. I didn't know about these other 5 flavors.
I know.
Are you selling them now?
Those are coming. I mean, the whole thing is because we're building this business, we're bootstrapping, right? So we're truly bootstrapping. So there's no investors involved. There's no backing from any banks or anything like that. Our sales are what allow us to put out flavors. So what we try to do is reach about, I think it's about 30 to 40,000 bags equals the next flavor. So like when we had original first, it was the first flavor we put out. When that did about 40,000 bags, then we were able to put out the smoke flavor. So when the smoke flavor does the next 40,000, then we can put out the next flavor, and then it'll happen just like that. And then the idea also is that because we're a spice company underneath, once we get to a certain place, which I'm thinking is once the smoke flavor reaches its plateau, then we'll put out the spices, because people are enjoying the chips. Why not enjoy the spices that go on the chips? So we're not with any national change yet, because to break into the national change takes a lot of finagling. It just takes the right higher up person. So we're primarily in mom and pop shops, primarily. So and I say that, like, for example, there's a wonderful grocery store down here called Urban City Market. That's actually in Atlanta. So if you're in the Atlanta area, definitely go check out Urban City Market. And again, all these locations I'm going to mention are all definitely on our website. So if you go to symphonychips.com, you click on locations, then you'll see all of the locations where our chips are. So Urban City Market, and also Cafe Ulu's another one. We have just landed a footprint in the AC Marriott hotels. So there's a couple around Atlanta that carry our potato chips. Also, there's this wonderful restaurant in Mississippi called Aunt B's. And Aunt B's, and I have to give a big shout out to Aunt B, because Aunt B traveled all the way from Mississippi down here to Atlanta to visit us. And she brings nothing but love and thoughtfulness, and she promotes our chips every chance she gets. She even sponsors our chips to go to different events around the country as well. So definitely want to give a shout out to Aunt B's. So then also there's a place in New York, Dale's Deli, that's in Brooklyn. So what's up, Where Brooklyn at? Where Brooklyn at? So definitely got to give a shout out to them. So there's places, and also a few places in Chicago as well. And I'm missing the Black Mall. There it is, the Black Mall in Chicago.
Yeah,
carries our chips as well. So there's been a lot of people who have reached out in support of us, and has asked to carry the chips. And we, as I mentioned, those few places. There are of course there are others, and we try to advertise them as well. So as they have events and stuff coming up, we try to promote them and push them out as well. Oh, I can't forget the wine bar here that promotes us as well. The Videoteca. I say video. She's gonna beat me because I always say Videoteca. It's Barcelona Wine Bar. Is what carries our chips as well. So when they do wine tastings, because we have a gourmet chip, it pairs very well with your drier white wines and also your red wines, along with your IPA beers. So it's we don't just say gourmet and just to be saying it. It pairs with the items, or we'll call them the accessories, that go along with a gourmet experience. So these chips go a long way. You gotta check them out.
No, so that's a great point. So let me ask you, Dundre, if someone has a restaurant, or if they have a store, or just even a barbershop, and they would like to place your chips inside of their location, how do they get in contact with you to do that?
So the best way, the best way. One way is to come to our website. There's a link there for wholesalers. who can click on that, fill out the form or whatever, and we get back to you normally within 48 hours.
Give your website
we can
address
set
again.
up a wholesale agreement. I'm sorry.
Give your website address again.
Oh yeah. I was getting there, Brian. Give me a second. I was telling the whole thing, Brian. So, so on our website, which is symphonychips.com. Again, it's SYMPHONYCHIPS. And again, it's right here behind. Let me get my finger right. Kind of hard to look in the thing, and right there. That's it right there. Symphonychips.com. Or you can email me directly at danderson@symphonychips.com. And definitely I welcome all questions. If you're trying to get it, as Brian mentioned, in a barbershop, a deli, sandwich shop, pizza shop, any place that flavor is important.
Excellent. You have something to add to that, Amina?
I think you said everything. I think you said everything that we have a really great product that we really want to share to the world, and want everybody to understand that we value like gourmet season, like a really nice flavor on a chip. Like we really value like actually tasting something when you're eating,
and one more thing I want to add, I think is very important, is as we talk about the company, I definitely want to, and Amina talks about her product. It's putting the support behind our younger generation, and especially our young Black girls. I think that's paramount. And so as I lay the foundation for the supply chain and all that, when she comes out with her product, then it's going to be extremely wonderful, because not only will you have the melodic flavors of the Symphony spice, but you'll also have this CEO right here pushing her product. And when I tell you it's pushing it, so I bring her out to the event, she sees what I do, but then because she's the aka the fry girl, because her product is a fried batter, so she's going to be the fry girl. So she's out there cooking and frying up stuff. She's going to have the full support of her father and also her grandfather out there with her, handing stuff out, giving out samples, things of that nature. So it's a truly family blended experience that we're putting forward. And my daughter here is a great CEO, and I say that not to say that just to be saying she's my daughter, she's great, but I think what makes her great is because she's willing to do the hard work. So a lot of people think that title is somebody sitting in the office somewhere in a corner, pointing fingers, giving directions. No, a true CEO is the one who's willing to get their hands dirty. In this case, she getting grease on her hands and under her fingernails, giving out her fried batter. That's coming soon. So
no, that is such a great point, because I was going to bring that up. Looking at the three of you, there's 3 generations. Plus, it's a family-run business and a family-owned business. They typically say businesses, many businesses in America does not make it past the 2nd generation. So here we actually have 3 generations. So, maybe your father wants to take us, or either one, discuss with us the importance of legacy businesses and growing businesses that can be passed down to future generations.
I think legacy, especially in the Black community, is something that is paramount. And I say that because the system here in this country is set up for the individual to be selfish. To basically, you're supposed to go to college, get a job, get some kind of insurance policy and 401k. All of this is just your name now. And then when you die, you leave a lump sum of money that then, depending on how you do it, could be depleted in probate court or whatever. Or it's just one lump sum of money to be passed on. There's no residual income. Because that person just passes it on, and to the next person who's supposed to go to college, get a job, get a 401k, do the same thing again, but it's still an individual thing. The only time you have true wealth in this country, or just wealth period, I wouldn't say this country, but only way you have wealth period is if the money is residual. It continues to grow, and not just on an interest rate, but through a product and or service, which only comes from a business. So legacy is important because these are the things that are the seeds that are planted to pass on to the next generation. Now, Passing on a business is one thing where I can just show her, well, hey, Amina, here's the supply chain. Here's the people who you contact, place the orders with. Just keep it going, and I die, you know. Or I can involve her while I'm here and show her how to run the business and what profit looks like. Truly, once you pay people off, then the nickels and pennies you have left over are your profit. Or in some cases, when we get our numbers a little higher, when people start ordering from symphonychips.com right now, those pennies and quarters will turn to dollars. But then you know, it's much more than just you know, just teaching her the business and the legacy. It's about service, because as I go through this process, anybody who has a question about how to set up a supply chain, how to start a business, you know, how do I grow from doing it in my kitchen to looking at a co-packer? How do I know when that level or step is? That's part of a legacy, is what you give back and what service you offer the world. Yeah, I can talk about all day about the service being offering a better potato chip experience. Well, okay, that's one thing. But having a legacy that builds our community is something I think greater and will be bigger than myself. Because bringing manufacturing into the fold, where now we're offering jobs to people, and not just jobs, but then also training them how to. It's something we're working on also, is training people how to work in the manufacturing fulfillment center. So that way, these are skill sets that they can take other places if they like. But it gives you a pathway, especially if you're a young adolescent or you're a returning convict or whatever, and where it's almost impossible if you get a job. One, because of the color of your skin. Two, because the system has swallowed you up and spit you out. Why not have a way to earn money and build a sense of pride for yourself? That's what we're looking at. So legacy to me is has a lot of components in it, not just passing a business along, but also showing my offspring, like I learned from my father, that it's not just your hard work ethic, it's teaching others that same work ethic, and then also building that into your family, so that way you can offer those same things out to the community, so you can build a better community and then economic structure. That's how we grow as a people, is through economics. Oh, yeah. and voting. Sorry, go ahead.
You vote with your dollars, and yes, you vote at the polls as well. Always say that. Absolutely. So that is such a great point. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs around the country. Talking right now with one of our entrepreneurs in St. Louis. Their company is about $30 million in revenue is what they do per year. And just dealing with some of our companies around the country, many times children want nothing to do with their parents' business. So Amina, tell us why you found it important to be able to work together with your dad and your granddad in this business when you could have done something else.
Well, one, I work with them in the business because I'm interested in it. I was introduced to entrepreneurship way earlier in my life, and I found interest in it. I think many people.
How old were you, Amina, when you started?
How old was I? What? 12.
When we did the in-store stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 5 years ago. Yeah.
About 12. So I was introduced to it when I was younger, which is like the best time to like really like show the ropes and be like, hey, this is something that I'm doing, and I want to introduce it to you. And then I listened, I learned, and I'm like, okay, I'm interested in doing this, and I want to continue it because I feel like this whole thing is interesting. This is a new, a new thing to do. I've never really seen a lot of people go into potato chip business, and our culture as youngins are all about doing new things and trying to make the best of anything. And so I really like this new product that's coming out. I mean, I really like our new product because, of course, not a lot of people are doing it. And we like being original, and I like being original. So I think carrying this on, it would be really good for me and for all of us.
Definitely. I want to throw out there again, if you own a restaurant or a barbershop, or if you have a store and you would love to have Symphony chips inside, Dundre is going to give you his contact information. Again, you could go on to symphonychips.com and click on would you say distribution? Is that what it is?
Wholesale.
Okay.
Yep.
Click on wholesale.
You go to
and
symphonychips.com, you click on wholesale, and you can fill out the information, and we contact you back within 48 hours. We get you set up in our system, and you can order online, and we ship right to your door. Or I'm sorry, or your store, or your restaurant, or your barbershop, or whatever facility you have, we ship to you.
Absolutely. So as we get ready to wrap up here, tell us, obviously most of our audience is African American. So how can Black people help you, Symphony Chips, grow your company?
Exposure, really.
What does that mean?
Yeah, it's so what I've learned from marketing folks is that people have to see your brand 7 times before they want to buy it. That's what they said, minimum of 7 times. And it's exposing it to different audiences that are your target market, where they can be, blown up, and I don't say blown up, but it can be seen and felt by the masses. And when you have a food product, is getting it in their mouths, or at least coming up with advertising that makes people want to try it. So, yeah, and did I answer the question? Because you said exposure. Was there more to that?
I mean, yeah, it was just advertisement and stuff like that. And makes getting people to know our product is our #1 thing that we need to get more of it.
Yeah.
Because I feel like everything that really pops off always starts on the internet. Doesn't matter what it is, everything pops off on the internet. So I guess we need to get more people to recognize us and be like, hey, we're doing something great, showcase great things that our community is doing. So we did that more. We get more exposure for our company. That's how people can really help. All you gotta do is just share our stuff, do reviews, share it, everything, talk about it, and that's how we can really push this whole chip movement.
And it is a revolution.
Yes, buy it.
Yeah, if you want a true gourmet experience, go to symphonychips.com. If not, go to them other guys.
Okay. All right, Amina.
Oh, were you going to
add? No. That was good.
I'm gonna say that Brian, I appreciate you having us on. It's definitely a pleasure. And again, I want to encourage all of the Black entrepreneurs out there, all the people who have ideas, or the people who are tired of going to work every day and somebody putting their foot on your neck, because that's what it is. If you have a great idea, go after it, try it, because you could change the world. I mean, I didn't know that I would be doing potato chips. I really thought I was stuck in the matrix for a long time. I was going to work, people putting their foot on my neck, and then my dad showed me some spices, and I saw the opportunity to create generational wealth for my family and create a legacy that's going to go beyond my dad, beyond me, my daughter. So you can do the same thing. I definitely want to encourage you to not just go for the 401k, because that's a lie. Go for a business that will continue to survive. Matter of fact, it will succeed you, and you can then pass on to your children and your children's children. That's how you build generational wealth, and then you do that for your community. It's all about giving back and giving service. I am definitely blessed to have the opportunity to have this experience to even share with you. Because before this, I couldn't have told you about supply chain. I couldn't have told you the trials and tribulations. I can also tell you that some people say, they discourage a lot by saying it's not easy and it's really hard. It's hard because it's new. If I knew today what I knew, what was it, 9 years ago when we started the company, oh, it'd have been easy. Hey, Dre, all you got to do is this, and then do this, and then do that. It'd be real simple. Would have been no problem. The only reason it's hard is because it's brand new, and it's brand new to you, and it's taking you out of your comfort zone and what you're used to. So I encourage you all, please, please, please reach out and try something new. And also, reach out and get you some Symphony potato chips. That's SymphonyChips.com.
Right. I do have one or two more questions for you before you go. One, did you ever feel like quitting at any time? Did you feel like, you know what, this is too tough? You know, they don't want to deal with me because I'm black. It's hard to get in different stores. Did you ever feel like quitting or giving up on the business? Most entrepreneurs feel like that, so don't feel like if you did.
Yeah. So yeah, when the sales are low, you feel like, what am I doing wrong? Why can't I get this great explosion? You know, why haven't I, you know, gotten further than I am now? So it's basically, you know, in this case, me beating up on myself. If I thought about quitting, like, well, yeah, forget it. You know, I can just turn it off and go lay down. But then I think about, you know, what really keeps me going a lot of times is actually a couple things. One, the expression on people's faces when they try the chips, because they have their norm of what they're used to, right? They have, you know, what they're used to doing, what they're used to tasting. Because people are habitual. They go to the store, they buy the same kind all the time, and they're used to that same flavor. Then they try our chips, and it's always this, oh my God, these are potato chips? You know, it's that kind of encouragement, because even though I've never ran a restaurant like my dad has, so I've never got a chance to peek out and see people trying my new dish and watching their faces, you know, change and their whole way of life being altered now. I've never had that experience, but I get a taste of that just by watching them try the chips, and it's an amazing experience. And then, man, I had to go and have children, right? So if I quit, then they see me quit. Then it's like, well, Dad, why you quit? You used to be so into it. You know, it's be all these great things, whatever. Why you quit? How you answer that question? So as long as I can't figure out how to answer that question, and as long as I keep getting encouragement from people saying, I love your chips, I love your product, you know, and people keep reordering, I gotta show up. Even though the work is hard, and it's a lot of times it's I won't say grueling. You don't get a lot of credit, right? You don't get a lot of credit for holding on, right? But also keeping faith is hard. Also, it's like, when is it gonna change? When can I go quit my day job and be like, peace? I'm chip man now, full time.
Deuces.
Right. You know, it's a whole lot of when. You know, it's just answering the question when. When does it happen? I don't have to answer. So yeah. I keep doing it. I keep showing up. That's my thing.
Absolutely.
Even though sometimes it feels hollow, I keep showing up. Somebody sends me an email, I respond, because you never know what that response may do. And I don't want to wonder what if, you know, what if I just did it one more day, or did it one more week, or one more month? So I stay with it, because I'm too attached to the possibility right. of being able to build that manufacturing facility, being able to bring in the community, supply jobs, things of that nature, to be able to watch my daughter take her product and flourish and go further and do all the things that she wants to do without having to go to college and do and go through all that rigmarole that they put you through, because nobody has explained to me the math about how the college tuition goes up, but yet the salaries are coming down. Ain't nobody explained that to me yet. So another conversation. I know, Brian, another conversation. But to answer your question, I stay with it because I don't want to wonder. I never want to wonder what if, and I don't want to have to explain to her why I quit.
No, and you kind of just answered my question again, but I want to give that, ask that last question. You just answered it, but I want to reiterate on it. What is the future of Symphony Chips? Where do you see Symphony Chips in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years down the road?
5 years, we've definitely launched our entire portfolio and things that we didn't think were possible. Like, we've had conversations about having merchandise, you know, and doing some things from more of a hip hop thing, because, you know, I don't know what she think hip hop is, but Brian, you and I know what hip hop really is. You know? So I don't know what's happening today, but I know real hip hop. So having that, being able to allow her to run with it from her generation and seeing that flourish, and then 10 years from now, definitely being international. There's no reason why people in France, Germany, Japan.
Any final thoughts?
Just happy to be a part of this. Happy to be a part of the Black Chamber, the National Black Chamber. I think it's to Brian's point, it's very important to have a collective, and we have to continue to support the collective. This is how we find out about each other, because there's not too many national organizations that are reaching down or reaching back for us. So I say, hey, do it ourselves. Let's be the change that we want to see. And it takes organizations like yours, Brian, to promote that, and organizations like yours to connect us, because, hey, there could be a black packaging company that I don't know about because maybe they're not advertising, they don't know how to advertise. But it's through the directory that you're creating and cultivating that we'll be able to find those things, and we can circulate the black dollar, because it's all about circulating the black dollar. So next time Killer Mike decides to do a video about only supporting black products, then maybe he'll have a directory now in addition to WeBuyBlack.com, to put it all together, because these organizations coming together is how we find out about each other. And the more we find out about each other, the more we circulate a black dollar, the stronger our economic base will be. So I'm down.
Perfect. This is excellent. So thank you all for joining us today at Symphony Chips. Again, go to symphonychips.com to purchase some chips. And I also want to thank our sponsor, Ashe Water, who is sponsoring this program today. The Ashe Water team promotes a higher consciousness by encouraging a healthy lifestyle and explaining the many benefits of drinking 100% natural alkaline spring water. So again, go to Ashe Water, ASEWATER.com to buy you some black-owned water. Black-owned water company. Ashe Water, they offer 20-ounce bottles, as you see here, and they also offer 4-gallon bottles for your home or for your office. So it's important for us to support our black-owned businesses. So as you see, I got a T-shirt here that says "Buy Black or Die." So it's important for us to understand how necessary it is. If our community is going to grow, we must circulate our dollar. We must support our businesses. There's a thing that goes around that only 2%, 2 cents out of every dollar that a black person spends goes into a black-owned business. So which means 98 cents out of our dollar is going to other businesses. And so we're doing what we can here at the United States Black Chambers to grow black-owned businesses, to help them to expand, to expose them to you as well. Not just so that you can say, oh, I know about this company, but really so that we can financially support them. We need to bombard his website tonight and really shut it down. Bombard his website tonight and order as many chips. Everybody eats chips. Everybody loves chips. So go on to symphonychips.com and order some chips. Go to ASHEwater.com and buy you some water. They'll ship it to you. And the good thing about it is you don't have to go to the store. They'll actually ship it to you, ship it to your doorstep, which is great. So we must be the change that we're looking for. We must pour our money and our dollars back into our community. Nobody else is going to come and save us. We're waiting on presidents. We're waiting, right now we're in the midst of an election. We're waiting on the presidents to come and save us. No president is going to come and save us. No elected official is going to save us. We have to save ourselves. So we're going to do this by growing our businesses and expanding and supporting our businesses. Are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. But many other businesses from other ethnicities that we support, they're not perfect either. But we continue to support them. There are long lines around the chicken restaurants right now. They're not perfect, but we're still supporting them. So we must support our own businesses and help to grow them. The more we pour money into them, the more they can grow. And as I mentioned last week, black-owned businesses, they're the second largest employer of black people. So to help to employ our community, and typically the unemployment rate in our community is always double that of whites. And it's been that way since the Bureau of Labor Statistics started in the 1950s. But if we are going to make the change, it has to be something that we are doing, that we're pouring our money into our businesses. And what I always say is, if I go to a restaurant or if I go to a black-owned business, if I go to a black doctor or lawyer, which I do all the time, I have a black dentist, I got a black doctor that I'm going to see tomorrow. So if I go to a black business and they are not providing the level of service that I'm looking for, typically what I do is I'll pull that owner to the side and explain to him or to her exactly what my experience was. We must see our businesses as a part of our community. We must see our businesses as family. And I do what I can to help grow those businesses. And the other thing that I always explain to our businesses at the chamber, because everybody that's a black-owned business, I talk to black businesses around the country all the time, everybody wants to be supported. Everybody wants money. But I'm going to challenge everybody that's watching. If you're a black business owner, you should definitely be supporting Symphony Chips because I see businesses that want to be supported. But my question is always, how many black businesses, as a black business owner, do you support? So we must be the solution. So many times we do complain that not enough people are supporting us, but we also have to look at the flip side of the coin and ask, how many other businesses are we supporting as a black business owner? And so with the chamber, we are always doing what we can to circulate that. This is why we're always making introductions. We're connecting our businesses to corporate partners. We're doing what we can to expand our companies and help them to grow, which is extremely important. So we're going to ask you, if you're a black business owner anywhere in the United States, even if you're outside of the United States, right now we have individuals coming in from Europe that want to join the United States Black Chambers. If you're a black business owner and you would like to help to learn how to grow your business, connect with other black business owners, learn the tools and the tips that you need to expand, send us an email. Send me an email directly at Brian, BRIAN, at usblackchambers.org. Again, it's Brian, BRIAN, at usblack, BLACK, chambers with an SCHAMBERS.org. Send us an email. We would love to be able to work together with you. We would love to be able to help you with your business. And as I tell everyone, as we work together with you and as we connect our businesses, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So we do what we can to connect you. We do what we can to help you to grow. We do what we can to help you partner together with other individuals around the country. But it is vitally important that we all look in the mirror and recognize that we are the solution. Nobody else is the solution. No major corporate partner is going to come and rescue our community. We have $1.3 trillion within our community. That a large portion of it is going out. But we decided to create a mobile app. Again, our mobile app is USBC directory. So if you're looking for black-owned businesses to support around the country, download that app right now. USBC, which stands for United States Black Chamber. USBC directory. You can find that on Apple and you can find that on Android. Download that. Andre, I'm getting a lot of feedback on your end. If you could turn your volume all the way down, I'm getting a lot of feedback on your end. So again, download the app, USBC directory. USBC directory. You could also go into the website, usbcdirectory.com, and locate black-owned businesses. So I have a challenge. I have a challenge for everyone. Again, we will be broadcasting next week from the Congressional Black Caucus next Wednesday. But between this Wednesday and next Wednesday, my challenge to everyone is to download the USBC Directory mobile app. Again, US, which stands for United States, BC, Directory, USBC Directory. Download the app and locate a black-owned business in your area that you have never been to and go and patronize it. So again, download the USBC Directory mobile app and locate a black-owned business in your area that you've never been to, whether it be a restaurant, doctor, lawyer, attorney, anything like that. Locate somewhere in your area that you've never been to, and let them know that you found them on the USBC directory. So this was great. This was excellent. We are so glad that you all decided to join us. We are growing this. We're growing this broadcast. We will be broadcasting this again and sharing this again. And in the upcoming weeks, as I mentioned earlier, we will be having Rolling Out Black-Owned Magazine out of Atlanta. Hop onto their website, check them out, rollingout.com, GovFlex. For all of you that have businesses, GovFlex is going to be very, very key. GovFlex, we've had them on some of our monthly member-only conference calls, and our members have loved them. GovFlex, they work with individuals to help them to do business with the federal government. So if you are seeking, as a business owner, if you are a contractor, you're seeking to do business with the federal government, stay tuned for that. We will be having Eric Adolph and his team onto our broadcast discussing how to do business. Eric Adolph with his former company he grew his company to millions of dollars in revenue and ended up selling his company for millions of dollars as well. So one of the things that we really focus on here at the US Black Chambers as a membership is learning from each other, learning how other members have done it, learning what they're doing, because one of the things that my old a business partner who helped me found the USBC directory, found our mobile app, we would always say, you do not have to reinvent the wheel. So this is why we exist as the United States Black Chambers, to help you grow as a business so that you don't make some of the same mistakes that I made, that you don't make some of the same mistakes that others have made. We can learn from each other to help to grow our company and help to expand as well. So this has been a great broadcast. Again, we will have GovFlex, we will have Shoe Crazy Wine, Black-owned wine company. We will have She's Happy Hair, Black-owned company out of Texas. They're doing millions of dollars in business a year. And we will have many of our other members onto the broadcast as well. We will be coming every week, just exposing to you our Black-owned businesses, so that not that you just become aware of them, but that you can financially support them. So I'm going to stress again, please go on to symphonychips.com and buy some potato chips. Also go into Ashe Water, ASE Water, WATER.com, and purchase some water and purchase some potato chips. And we will be bringing you more great companies. There are some amazing Black-owned companies out here. And they're Black-owned hotels. They're Black-owned car dealerships. They're, of course, Black-owned restaurants around the country. They're Black-owned chains around the country. There's so much that we own that we do not know. And with this broadcast, we're doing everything that we can to bring those to you so that you can become aware of them. So again, so that you can support them. But it's necessary that we as a community, we work together, we pour our money into each other's business, and we help to circulate the dollar and help our businesses to grow. So this was excellent. I'm glad to have everyone on to the broadcast. Glad that you all joined us. And we look forward to having you here same time next week, again, 7 o'clock. And continue to share this broadcast, share this with all your friends, share this with your family, make everyone aware that the United States Black Chambers Business Directory has a broadcast that comes on every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we bring on a great Black business that many people have never heard of before. And so we are here to highlight our businesses, to make sure that our businesses grow and make sure that our business expand. In the next 5 years, I want to have Dundre, his father, and his daughters on, and I want to hear about this distribution plant, this plant that he has built and that he has grown because he's got so much support from the Black community. This can happen if we do it, and we're able to do it ourselves. So thank you all very much. Again, if you do have any questions, just send your questions directly to me. You can send them to Brian, BRIAN, at usblackchambers.org, Brian at usblackchambers.org. We would love for you to join the chamber. We would love to be connected with you. We are stronger together, stronger when we work together. So again, this is the national voice of Black business. Remember to download the app, the USBC directory app. Go onto your Play Store or onto your Apple, iTunes, and download the app and support a Black-owned business between now and next week. Find a Black business that you have never supported before and go and support them. And remember, if you have an issue, customer service, of course, I hear that's an issue. If you do have an issue with the owner, with the way customer service was done, pull the owner to the side, talk with the owner, and give them some constructive criticism, some constructive feedback, and do what you can to help to grow that business and help to expand them as well. So thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. This is our second broadcast. We're getting the hang of it. Thank you very much to our cameraman, Ty Naaman Brown. Now, Ty is going to give me his handle really quickly so that you can find him on Instagram, and you can also find him on on Facebook as well. So he's going to place his handle down in the comments. So if you want to use him, utilize him. If you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and if you pay him enough, he'll fly to Alaska. If you pay him enough, he'll fly anywhere. But definitely support our cameraman, Ty Naaman Brown. He does a great job with us. He's done work with us with the chamber before and many other events that we've done. So again, thank you very much for supporting us. Thank you very much for being a part of this broadcast. And again, support a Black-owned business, support Symphony Chips, support Ashe Water, and find a Black business that you have not supported before and support them between now and next week. And also join the chamber. You can go into our website, usblackchambers.org, usblackchambers.org. And you can also go into our directory, usbcdirectory.com, and locate a Black-owned business. Thank you very much. You all have a great weekend. Again, this is the National Voice of Black Business. You have a great night.